Hi, you guys, it's Yaz. If you have a dating or relationship question or you need an opinion on something, go to the link in the bio and ask a question and get a personalized video sent back to you. It's in the link tree / the game exposed, and you could ask a question and get a personalized video confidentially sent to you answering your question. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and today I want to talk about something that is so common in modern dating, okay? I want to talk about the low value dater, or as we call them, the zeros, okay? These are people that will waste your time, and you have to be able to recognize who's a low value dater. Who's a low value dater, you guys? I'm going to tell you. These are the people that don't put the effort in. These are the people that come on strong and then all of a sudden they back off or they contact you and breadcrumb you. Those are the low value daters, okay? They're people that don't, reciprocate when you contact them, or they make conversation, but they're not making any kind of, conversation to get to know you. It's all on the surface type of nonsense conversation where you get off the phone and you still don't know what that person is about. Okay? Somebody who's a high value dater, somebody who's worth your time, is somebody who progresses. Okay? Not somebody that floats along and touches base with you or just gives you the text every other day, how you been? Hope everything's okay, or something like that. That is the low value dater, okay? The high value dater is somebody that talks to you the way you would talk to a friend initially. In other words, they want to hear details about you. They don't want to just talk about, surface level things like, who is the best team in the NFL or something like that. They want to know about what's going on in your life, okay? If somebody is not taking an interest in knowing what's going on in your life, then they're not really that interested in you, okay? That's why I tell you guys all the time, look at the conversation that you have with somebody. I'm telling you, the kind of conversation somebody makes tells you everything about that type of person. Most of the people that are, a zero, in other words, they're really not looking for anything from you except to maybe have a date with you and hopefully get sex off you, or they're looking for some other benefit from you. They're not able to have conversations where they're trying to get to know who you are. They're just making conversation just to have a check that they contacted you, so you could think, they must like me because they contacted me. No, they have to ask you questions and keep with it, okay? Not just the first or second time they talk to you. How many kids do you have? And what do you do for a living? And, stuff that is like the general check off. They need to, take an interest in who you are. So we talk about low value and high value people all the time, all right? And somebody who's low value is somebody who doesn't make an effort. Ding, ding, okay? And they are abundant in today's modern dating, okay? Because you're going to find, if you're out there, that a lot of these people are, they're looking basically just to get a benefit off you. They're not looking to be, in a romantic relationship with you. They're not looking for the strings. They're not looking to be tied down. They're looking to just have fun, okay? Now, if you're just looking to have fun, you just do whatever you want, and that's one thing. But if you're looking for something more, you're looking for something real, you need to spot these low-value daters, okay? A low-value dater is going to give you lines like, when you talk to them, you ask them, how are things going? They say, oh, They're going great now that I'm talking to you, okay? In other words, what I'm trying to say is these people are fake, all right? They're trying to make it like, oh, they're so happy to be talking to you. Meanwhile, they know nothing about you, okay? So that is a sign that you are dealing with somebody who is like not being authentic with you, because it's not like they know you for a long time and they value you. You can't value somebody that you don't effing know, okay? You can't look at somebody and say to them, oh, my day's going great now because I'm talking to you. That's great. Why is your day going great because you're talking to me? You don't know anything about me. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be able to spot these phonies, all right? And there's a lot of them out there. So you'll know. What I always tell people is follow your gut. If it's coming off like very, very corny or something like that, you're dealing with somebody who's low value, okay? You're dealing with somebody who's trying to play game on you that is insincere, okay? And just, is contacting you for another reason than to really want to get to know you. So you got to be able to spot this, you guys. First of all, let me just give you guys a little background, all right? Dating today is very different from dating years ago, okay? Like, before I had gotten married, the way it was is guys pursued the women, all right? They were, they ask you for a date and everything. We didn't have this business of, oh, you want to link up? Oh, you want to get a cup of coffee or anything like that. Like, when I came back into the dating world, I'm like, what's going on? What kind of shit is this? Okay. And it's like, the problem is low boundaries. So many low boundaries today that women accept. And that's why you're not getting what you want. You need to, you guys, the problem is too, there's women out there that have high boundaries and they're having a hard time because you got these low value women chasing the guys. I'm going to give you guys an example. I watch 90 Day Fiance, okay? That show, oh my goodness. All right, let me just say this. There was a woman on there, an older woman, who flies out to Africa for this young guy who's a rapper, singer, and everything like that. She shows up with a dozen roses. She goes and she gives him a PlayStation 5 and everything like that. And I said, look at what's going on today. Look at the level of desperation that's going on today. Women going and buying guys flowers. This woman trying to buy him gifts. And you know the funny thing about it is, he doesn't look at it like he likes her anymore. If anything, he's saying to himself, look at this fool right here. Look at this person that I'm going to, suck every dime out of her. Okay? So, I mean, this is what I'm trying to say, just because you do so much for these people, they're not going to love you more. If anything, they're going to love you less because it's showing that you're desperate. And people can't love somebody that they don't respect. And this is exactly what happened. So let me tell you guys one of the things that you need to look out for. First of all, one of the most important things is where you meet these people, okay? You meet them on a dating app. Most of them are low value, okay? That's it. Point blank, period, all right? They are low value. Why? Because most of them on there are not looking for anything from you except either sex or money, all right? Most of them. I'm not saying that you can't meet somebody off a dating app, but it's, it's like winning Powerball today, okay? Because they're not on there for the right reasons. Dating apps are like the new back page, which was a place people went looking for sex. So if you don't know that, you will know that if you're on there long enough, okay? Unless you want to go through all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of profiles, unless you have a lot of time to waste, hey, that's up on you. If you want to, go through that trying to find somebody and hit, the one diamond out of all the others that aren't. That's on you. But what I'm trying to say is this, it's where you meet somebody. You want to meet people that are intentional. What does that mean? That means you want to meet people that are there, that have a purpose. You want people that have a purpose. You want people that understand what a healthy relationship is. Now, another thing I want to bring up is this. There's a lot of people that talk about, healthy relationships, or they talk about, their love for God or something like that. That's why I always tell you, you have to be careful if you meet somebody in a religious setting as well, because you have predators in these religious settings. You have predators that go into the churches, the synagogues, and all these places of religious worship looking for women that they could play. So you got to be careful of that as well. What you want is somebody with morals and values, yes, but you want somebody that really understands what it means to be in a healthy relationship, and not only understands what it means, but is able to do it. Okay? It's like the person that talks about their big dreams of being a multimillionaire or being the next Bill Gates, and yet they can't get out of their own way. Talk is cheap. Show me what you got. All right? And that means the same thing in dating. All right. Show me what you got. And that means they've got to be able to follow through. They've got to be able to be consistent with it. They've got to be able to hold a conversation where they're trying to get to know you. All right. People that want something more are going to try to get to know you. They're not going to talk about surface level things. They're not just going to talk about sports teams. They're not just going to talk about the weather. They're going to talk about you. And they're not just going to do it the first, second, or third conversation. They're going to do it consistently. Because if they want you in their life, they want to know who you are. Who the fuck are you? Okay? They want to know that because they want to know whether you're whether you're somebody that's worth pursuing or being in their life. Now, if you're dealing with somebody that their conversation is all on the surface and they don't care about who you are, they're just making conversation, this is somebody that's either stupid or this is somebody who really doesn't care about who you are, because they're not talking to you because they want anything with you. They're just talking to you because they want it checked off that they're talking with you so that they could get to their ultimate goal, which most of the times is sex, or it could be money, all right? That's why I tell you, look at the level of conversation you have with these people. Are you dealing with somebody that is genuine? Are you dealing with somebody that is quote unquote normal, however you want to define normal? Are you dealing with somebody that, isn't playing games? And when I say playing games is, they wait 3 days to text you back or something like that. That's either somebody trying to play games with you because they've been coached wrong by an idiot, all right, that tells them to do these things. That doesn't make women want you more. That makes women get disgusted and feel like, you know what? You're an idiot and you're not worth my time because you're not showing me that you're real and that you want to be consistent in getting to know me, okay? So that's where a lot of the problems are. Believe me when I tell you, a lot of these people, and especially the guys, a lot of them are not being coached right. They're being coached like, you want a woman to chase after you. You have to show her very little, show her a lot, then pull back. Then show. You do that hot and cold routine with some woman that knows what's up, she's going to delete your ass so fast. She's not going to bother with you if she's a smart woman, okay? Because she's going to see your games. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Those type of people that play those games, they're low value, okay? And it could go the other way if you're dealing with a woman who's playing those games too. You're dealing with somebody who's either very immature, very insecure, okay, or is not serious about trying to get to know you. So you have to be able to, see through the BS, so to speak, okay? When we talk low value, high value. So high value basically means, all right, that the person is keeping it real with you. Okay? Your gut is telling you that this person seems sincere. Now, they're sincere not because of what comes out of their mouth necessarily. That's just a part of it. But in their actions, their consistency, not their consistency the first week, not their consistency the second week, but their consistency over time, at least 3 months. Usually by 3 months, usually a lot of them can't even last up to 3 months, all right? Usually even within the first month, if you're picking up on all the red flags, you're going to see if this person is, low value or high value. Are they worth your time? When I say high value, basically what I'm saying is that they're worth your time. It's not about how much money they have. It's not about how good looking they are. It's about, is this person a potential to be with you and have something with you, okay? Now, the problem, okay, when we talk about low value men, the issue is this, you guys. You're living in a different kind of world than years ago. So today, it's like, not only are the guys being coached like, you kick back and you let her chase you, okay? You have those type of guys that are following that kind of ideology. If you're dealing with somebody like that is expecting you to be the aggressor or be the masculina, you're not dealing with a real man, all right? A real man knows what to do. A real man knows that he should take the lead, okay? Now, if you're the type of woman that doesn't believe in that, and you want to be the pursuer and everything like that, just remember this. If you take that route, you will always have to be the pursuer, because this is what you're training that person to be. In other words, if you feel like, well, this is, modern age and, women don't have to wait around for a man. It's okay for a woman to chase a man. Okay, then chase the guy. All right. You'll never know if he really likes you. So then if you're going to chase him, then just remember, I just want to know, are you going to get down on one knee and propose to him too? Okay. All right. Is he going to have the child for you for 9 months? All right. I'm just going to say it like it is. And whoever doesn't like it, that's too bad, because that happens to be a fact in today's world. Men and women are not wired the same. They're not wired the same, you guys. And in order to be in a successful, healthy relationship, you have to respect your partner. Okay. What does that mean? That means that, you have to play whatever role you believe in. All right. If you're the type of person that is old school values, that believes that a guy should pursue a woman, then let him take the lead. Let him take the lead. Men value what they work for. They don't value the low value chick that invites them over and they have sex with. You may think that, but no. Because after they have sex with them, they're looking at her like she's a dirty piece of trash. All right. All right. Or they're just using her for some benefit or something like that. Some people don't want to hear the truth, but that happens to be the truth. And I got 5,000 guys on my Facebook that'll say the same thing. Believe me when I tell you. All right. So this is where the cutoff game. Okay. Go back and listen to my podcast on your cutoff game needs to be fierce. This is one of the biggest problems you guys make, is you give these low value men your time. They don't deserve your time. If they're not showing you that they're real, if they're not showing you that they're sincere, if they're not, pursuing you the way they should pursue you and progress with it, then they are a low value man, okay? And that means that they are somebody that is just going to waste your time. You're never going to go anywhere with somebody like that. They're not looking for anything serious. It doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them, somebody that is not of value in your life if you're somebody looking for something more, okay? So recognize the signs of somebody who's low value, you guys. And, it could go the other way. You got low value women out there too. I've heard it from a few of the guys. Like I've had guys say to me, it's not just the men, some of the women too. Yeah, there's women out there too that are not putting the effort into it. And if they're not putting the effort into it, then you don't bother with them. It's as simple as that, okay? It's as simple as that. You don't give these people your time. All right. Time is valuable. You will realize that as you get older. You will look back on your life and you will say, why did I waste all this time with this person for how many years? And I never even got engaged. I never even got married. I never even got kids. I waited around for this person. No, don't be a fool. Don't be a sucker. I don't care what they say. People will lead you on for years for some benefit. And in some cases, they will drop you like a hot potato if something better comes along. All right. So don't put yourself in that position. All right. You've got to be, you've got to be cutthroat with it. Otherwise, you're going to waste your time. But the problem is a lot of people are desperate for love. They're desperate to have somebody. They're codependent. They can't be alone, you guys. You could be alone in a relationship. This is what you don't understand. I've lived through that, and I know a lot of other people that have lived that. Just because you have somebody doesn't mean that you're necessarily happy or you feel fulfilled or you feel like that person is there with you, okay? A lot of times you get involved in relationships and that person may be around you physically, but mentally they're not with you, okay? So this is why I'm saying don't think that, having somebody means that you're not alone, because you could be involved in a relationship where that person is, making you very unhappy. That's not there for you emotionally, okay? So don't be afraid to be alone. There's nothing wrong with being alone. In a lot of cases, you know what? Being alone sometimes is better than being with somebody who's draining the life out of you, sucking the life out of you. You don't want to be with somebody that you have to worry what they're doing, who they're talking to. Oh, I got to check their phone. If you're living in a type of relationship where you constantly got to check that person, there's a problem there. There's a problem there. Do you want to live like that the rest of your life? Do you think that, anything's going to change? If this is that person's character, that's that person's character. So you got to realize it, okay? If you ever want to be truly happy, unless you're just one of these people that thrives on the drama. But you know what? Once you get away from that, you value your peace and you say to yourself, you know what? I may not have met somebody yet, but I have my peace. And I work on myself and I build myself up. So that's the way you got to look at it, okay? Now, today's world is very difficult, you guys, because there's so much easy sex out there. There's so much supply out there that it's very hard to find people that will work for the relationship. This is why I tell you, you have to look in the right places. And people have come back to me and say, well, where I live, there isn't anything going on and this and that. Well, then you know what? If you can't get involved in something, and also we have this COVID situation going on, which makes it very difficult, then you try to meet somebody online, but not on a dating app, okay? Why? What's the difference? Because on the dating apps, most of the guys on the dating apps are not there for relationships. That's just a fact, all right? But if you meet somebody, let's say online in an interest group, there's so many interest groups online, you guys. Like there's interest groups for people that like sports. There's interest groups for people in business. There's interest groups for, just local groups of people, singles in your area, hiking groups, all different kinds of groups. You know that person is not there as a predator, okay? That person is there because of the interest in an interest group most of the time. So not only do you have an interest with them, but, if you hit it off, you could take it to the next level and then start talking and see where it goes from there. Now, another thing I want to make you guys aware of is this. If you deal with any kind of woman haters out there or anything like that, you do not bother with somebody like that. Now, who is that? Those are people that say the women are the problem. All women cheat. Or if you're dealing with somebody who automatically is talking about like all women are bad or all this are bad, you're dealing with a flawed individual. You're dealing with a hurt person, okay? This is somebody who's been hurt by somebody. So now they've built up a hatred, okay? One of the things that, somebody who's smart recognizes is the fact that, we all have had bad experiences. We've all been through something, but it doesn't mean the whole gender is bad. I don't go and look at all men and say all men are bad or all men are liars or something like that. Yeah, there could be a large percentage of them that are liars, or maybe the ones that I picked, a certain type of guy that fits that role, maybe the player type will lie all the time, okay? If you're picking that type of dude, yeah, you could experience that, but not all men are liars, okay? How do I know that? Because I know a few guys that are true good guys that, are going through a rough time themselves dealing with women, okay, that lie. It goes both ways, you guys. It really depends on who you pick. But if you're dealing with somebody that's that closed-minded, okay, and is sitting there and saying, all women are this or all women that, you got to back off from that person. That is somebody that you do not want to deal with, okay? That is somebody that is very ignorant. So be aware of that. If you're dealing with somebody who, gives you their number without asking for your number, you're not dealing with a real man, okay? You're not dealing with a real man. A real man will ask you for your number, all right? That when a guy gives you his number first and says, here's my number or whatever else, you're dealing with a feminine man, all right? You're dealing with a guy that might have been coached by some of these clown coaches that tell them to do that, all right? And what they're doing is they're training you to be the pursuer, that now you've got to reach out to them. You don't want to deal with somebody like that. It's like I told you, a real man knows what to do. A real man is not afraid of rejection, all right? A real man will shoot his shot. A real man will pursue a woman, and if she doesn't, if she rejects him or something like that, he's like, okay, you know what? I picked the wrong chick. Next time, I'm going to go for a different type of girl, or I'm going to try to get to know that girl or something like that. A real man knows that, okay? A real man knows that. So, you got to understand the difference. A real man is secure in his skin. He's secure in his skin, okay? Now, you do have some guys that are, that don't have that self-confidence and everything like that. So, that could be like the exception of the rule. But the point is, you want somebody that knows, how to take the lead. And why is this important? This is important because this is going to be your partner in life. This is going to be somebody that you're going to split bills with, or you're going to be able to raise children. If you're going that route and you want to have a family, you want to know that your partner can handle himself if you're not around. You want to know that if something were to happen to you, this person is able to take the lead and be able to take care of your kids, okay? And if you're dealing with one of these feminine dudes that can't even ask a girl out on a date, how do you expect this guy to be able to take care of your kids if you weren't around, or be able to, take them to a doctor if they were sick or something like that, or they wouldn't know what to do or something like that? No, you want somebody that, that takes initiative. This is what I'm trying to say. They take initiative, okay? So that's the difference. But the other thing too is, sometimes when you're dealing with somebody that is that takes initiative and could be very alpha, sometimes, they may not respect you as well. So you want somebody who knows what it is to respect a woman and, values a woman and doesn't look at a woman as a second-class citizen either, and it isn't looking for a submissive woman, okay? be careful of that, because then you could be dealing with somebody who could be possibly, I'm not saying they are, but they could be possibly abusive down the line, all right? So you look for the warning signs, somebody who's controlling or something along those lines, or somebody who's overly jealous or something like that. You got to watch out for the other extreme as well. You just want an even balanced person, okay? An even balanced person with morals and values and is on the same page as you as far as what the man's role is and what the woman's role is and how you are supposed to move with it. Because today, there's so many mixed up people in the world, okay? So many mixed up people. Women don't know whether to ask a guy out. A guy doesn't know whether to ask a girl out that, he feels like maybe the woman, will think he's being too aggressive or something like that. I had an issue with this, you guys, where I put a post up about, approaching somebody, let's say in the supermarket, as opposed to a dating app. And a lot of the guys on there are like, I would never pursue a woman face to face anymore because these women are bitches and everything like that. Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, you might have hit a few women that are bitches, but there's a lot of women that would have been flattered as well that you could have hit it off with. Okay, you're never going to know unless you shoot your shot. And if you hit somebody that's a bitch with you, you just chalk it up and say to yourself, you know what? That in this world, we're going to have good and bad, all right? And you're going to deal with people that are abrasive, rude, and nasty, all right? And you just chalk it up as that is somebody who's rude and nasty. Thank God I don't have to deal with them. But I do know that there are good people and other people that would have been receptive to me, okay? It's better than just, saying, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go on a dating app, because now you're going to deal with, all the nonsense on the dating app. You're going to deal with all the games. You're going to deal with the catfishes. You're going to deal with the scammers. You're going to deal with the hookups. You're going to deal with the prostitutes and everybody else that's on there, okay? And the predators, all right? So, if you meet somebody face to face, it's a little different. You get to see who they are. You get to see their facial expressions. The only thing is you don't come off creepy, all right? You don't sit there and comment and say something like, oh, you got a nice ass or something. No, you don't do that kind of stuff, okay? You don't bring up anything sexual, and you don't, act weird. You just act normal like you would with a friend that you would be meeting, okay? And if they like what they see, they're going to, bounce back like a tennis ball. It's going to bounce. The convo is going to vibe, all right, if they like what they see. Or they could just be, courteous to you, and maybe they're not into you, and they'll just back off a little bit. But you get the vibe. You'll get the vibe. So the thing is this, you guys. You want somebody that, is on the same page, okay? So you have to know what role you want to play in a relationship, okay? Do you want that person do you want the man to take the lead, okay? Or if it's the other way around, do you want the woman to take the lead? Well, then you got to find that type of person. You've got to find that type of person. And how do you find out what somebody's about? Conversation, all right? Conversation. That's how you find out, if you're dealing with somebody who's a very intelligent, open-minded, spiritual type of person, or you're dealing with a crackpot, all right? So you've got to, if you like somebody, you've got to have conversation with them and see where their head is at, okay? That's half the battle. Look in the right places. So I hope that helps you guys. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share, and have a great day. Hi, you guys. I just want to make you aware that the Game Exposed podcast now has their merchandise available. You can check out the link in the podcast description. There's hoodies, there's sweatpants, there's t-shirts, there's cool hats. So go check it out. Link is in the podcast description. And follow Yaz on Instagram at dating_advice_Yaz. you guys, it's Yaz, and I want to tell you about my 2 books on Amazon. The first book is Regain Your Power. It's all about power and relationship. Who has the power in the relationship? And it goes into all of that, okay? The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time, okay? Check it out. It gives you a lot of good clues as to whether you're with somebody who's a real one or somebody who's just going to waste your time. You could read them both with Kindle's free trial membership. So check it out. Link is in the podcast description.